Today I'll be discussing the LA Pedagogy course composition across the Learning Assistant Alliance. And this is work done by Maya Short, an undergraduate researcher, as well as myself, Jennifer Avena, and Betsy McIntosh. So what we aim to do is identify the composition of the LA Pedagogy course across the Learning Assistant Alliance. And in order to do so, we developed a pedagogy course composition survey via iterative interviews in order to describe that landscape of pedagogy course structures and practices across the Learning Assistant Alliance. And so over the summer of 2020, we recruited pedagogy course coordinators and instructors and LA program coordinators and administered this survey regarding spring 2020 prior to any remote transition and collected responses from 36 institutions. So figure 1 shows we have a variety of institution types. Figure 2 shows that most pedagogy courses involve just new LAs, although there are some courses, 9 courses, 9 institutions, which have both new and returning LAs in the pedagogy course. As far as the practices of the LA Pedagogy course, we see in figure 3 that most programs spend more time in these whole class and small group discussions. Our y-axis is the percent of time, and less time in having students work individually. We could then look more closely at the practicum experiences or projects and activities in the LA Pedagogy course that support LA's applications of key pedagogy. And so we see for the remainder of the bar graphs, we'll have number of institutions on the y-axis. And so what we see here on the x-axis are different practicum experiences. And we see there are a variety offered at institutions. The most widely used ones were the teaching reflections. These are regularly implemented teaching reflections, as well as end of term reflections. If we look more closely at what practicum experiences were most impactful for supporting LA development, this was a question we asked the respondents as far as what they perceived as the most impactful. And we see 4 practicum experiences that come out as perceived as most impactful for LA development support. The most common being teaching reflections, as well as mentoring, interview projects where LAs interview peers with questioning to identify student ideas, as well as curriculum development. We also asked respondents why they identified this practicum experience as most impactful, and we have example quotes here, including for regular teaching reflections that it allowed LAs to integrate pedagogy theory into their practice. Mentoring allowed for valuable feedback to the LAs and a sense of belonging. The interview project allowed for fostering of listening skills, and curriculum development allowed LAs to implement what they've learned in the course to create an active learning experience. We also looked at the context and topics discussed in the LA Pedagogy course. In figure 6, what we see is there are a variety of topics that are discussed, the most frequently being metacognition and questioning strategies, but there are many different topics and contexts that were discussed at multiple institutions. Finally, we looked at how the pedagogy course is connected to other elements of the LA program. And so what we see is that the pedagogy course in many institutions is connected to the lead faculty, such as through workshops or regular communication. A few institutions also have pedagogy courses for lead faculty. Some courses, although fewer, have connections to returning LAs in addition to the pedagogy class for returning LAs. And so what we'd like to do next with this survey is offer this as a resource and identify institutions that use certain practices, practicum experiences, or contexts and courses, and Use this as a resource for new LA programs or programs interested in implementing new components, as well as a reflective tool for LA pedagogy course instructors and coordinators. Thank you for listening today.